Namaste and welcome everybody. I hope you are doing good. Welcome to the podcast again, and today we would be talking about the most burning topic, the news item in the Indian media and the Indian discourse, which is the Sonam Raghuvanshi murder case. Which was named as, which was popularized as Meghalayan murder case, which is wrong actually, aligning the name of a state, of a region, which is actually very good. So, yeah, it is the guy whose name is. See, I do not remember the name even correctly of the guy who has lost the life, but I remember the name of the perpetrator, alleged perpetrator, the girl whose name is Sonam Raghuvanshi. It tells that the media has already talked a lot about the girl, right? The media has looked at it from the individual perspective, individual looking at the girl, and then demonizing her. And that is true actually, because the act that she has done, if she has she has a role to play in it, but we do not know with certainty yet to what extent she is responsible. So whatever it is, the act that she has done is horrible, it is terrible, right? And she should be punished for that. I heard that her brother was asking to hang her even. Whatever it is, what we would be doing is we would be looking at this issue from the societal point of view, which no person, no media, nobody is focusing on. We would be specifically looking at this issue from the feminist perspective, from feminist point of view, also from functional perspective. Now this is going, this is getting a little bit tricky and technical. There is a perspective in sociology which says that everything that happens in the society serves some function, and it is serving some function, and that is why it is existing. And well, this particular line doesn't has much to do with this particular case, but it also talks about the social change. When there is some social change, then the society will have to adapt to the social change that is coming in the society, say modernization, right? If it doesn't, then there comes a friction, there arises some anomaly, you know in the society, which has a drastic and catastrophic consequences, right? And we will be talking about this also, not to make it boring from the starting only. So in the beginning, what I want to do is to give you a disclaimer. If you are here to listen the story, no, I'm not going to narrate the story, because it is there being narrated 24/7 in all the media houses. If you are here to listen the bad things about the girl, no, I am not going to do that either, because already a lot of people, the social media is full of that. On Instagram, I've been seeing that, based on this particular incident, and also a couple of other incidents happened in the past, wherein the guy and his body was put, after killing him, into a container, that blue colored big container, or tanki as we call it here in Bharat. So such pictures are being shown on the social media, and a narrative is given that females these days, uh, marriages these days, brides these days are terrible. They can do anything to you, is getting normalized, generalized. Discourses are shared in such a way that do not, get into marriages. They can be really devastating, and sort of this based on just a couple of incidents, right? But still, still, it is not a small number. These are some cases which come to the forefront, to the mainstream media. Others do not, and thus they tell about, if such incidents are happening again and again, then they tell about something big underlying these incidents, right? They tell us about a societal problem, a structural shift in the society. This is not individual, this has become a social issue, a social problem which is impacting the entire society, and thus it should be studied or looked at from the societal point of view, is what I personally feel. Just a second. Yeah. So this is what I personally feel. So here we would be applying, as I told you, the societal perspective. You might dislike it if you are a person open to the critical point of views, critical thinking, looking at the issues from diverse point of views, accepting diverse point of views. Then you may continue. Otherwise, you can, wind up and go on slaving and abusing the girl whose name is Sonam Raghuvanshi. So before getting into the main point, let me give you a very brief background of the story, what it was. So there is a couple, both from Indore, both from the same caste, because caste matters a lot in India, and they are married. After a week or two, they decide to go to the honeymoon to the state of Meghalaya, a beautiful place. I don't know why they're gone there, maligning and tarnishing the image of the state. Also, the beauty there, the people there, the culture there. They shouldn't have gone there in the first place. But heads off to the magnanimity and kindness of the state, that after facing such a defamation, they were yesterday. I saw some images, the candle lights being the candles being burnt there before the photo of the girl. They were paying the homage to the deceased soul, and they are forgiving. I was listening to the CM of Meghalaya also on a video conference with the media person. He was saying that whatever has happened, that we should get over it, we should move on, we should forgive each other. And when he was asked that the parents of the deceased and the girl actually tried to tarnish the image of the state of Meghalaya, then he said that they were in a certain state of mind, going through a lot in their mind. So we should, think from their perspective as well. So this magnanimity, kindness, tolerance, acceptance, rationality in the minds of the people of the state of Meghalaya and the administrators there, the people at the top, the CM and other ministers, is truly amazing. It's just amazing. Not deviating from the issue, yeah. So I was basically saying that why did they go there? So, but the matter of the fact is that they go there, and then the girl actually orchestrated this murder plan beforehand of murdering her husband, of getting rid of him on that particular location in the state of Meghalaya during their trip, because that area has not many people coming there. The topography or the terrains are such that you can kill somebody and easily get away with it. So she was in contact with three other contractors, the murderers, the contract killers that she hired with the help of her alleged boyfriend, whose name is Raj, also from Indore, but from different caste and also class. So these would be the three major elements that we would be talking about: family, marriage, caste, class, region. Uh, Religion is not pertinent here in this case, but it is in general when we talk about the marriage of institution. And of course, social change. The change that we are seeing in the society, that women are getting independent, autonomous. There is a digital revolution going on, mobiles penetrating in our life. We are becoming urbanized, especially in the urban area. We are becoming modern these days. Thus, seeking autonomy, independence, relationship culture. You can contact whosoever you want over social media and other platforms, and you get into the relationship. You assert your autonomy. So these are the social changes that are taking place in the society, which have severe drastic implications upon the individual acts that the individuals perform, the acts that Sonam has performed. Let me tell you, I'm not absolving her of the guilt that she is having on herself. I'm not absolving, exonerating, or sort of giving her the clean chit. No, she is the culprit. She has done wrong, a tort or a sin, whatever you call it, and she should be given with the uh, necessary required stated punishment in the rule of law, as per the rule of law. What I am trying to do, being a person who's interested in sociology, being a social, not a theorist, not a sociologist, but a person who likes to look at the things from the sociological perspective. What I'm trying to do is to look at it from the feminist or sociological perspective, look at it from a broader perspective, a societal perspective, that what forced Sonam to do that? Why does these acts happen? Like, why does it happen? What is in the background is something that I would be trying to study. Right, I have jotted down certain points, not to make it very lengthy, which of course like it has become already. So yeah. So now what's happening is that what I can tell you is that this is all a result of the social change that is happening in the society. We are moving from tradition to modern. Now try to understand it attentively, right? Earlier we were a traditional society. There was not much urbanization. We were bounded by the social rules, social norms, social institutions, right, of marriage, and marriage also of arranged marriage, which is still prevailing in the society. Some other norms associated with the marriage, like should be in the same caste. According to the Pew survey and other surveys, it's still like 80% of the people in India marry in the same class. If we look at the newspapers, the advertisements of marriages there in the newspaper, they say that the daughter or the sons are highly educated, but they say that they are looking for the person from the same caste. It is written there like Brahmin in a square. You can see the ad, name of the boy, the age of the boy, the qualification, the caste, and not only that. And like if they are Brahmin, if they are Baniya, then they look for the certain sect in them. So people, despite getting the modern posts, the modern jobs, occupations, they are rooted in their traditions. They are not letting go of them. So when we talk about the marriage, because like marriage is at the epicenter, at the focus of the entire incident, the discourse and everything, so we will have to shed some light on this institution of marriage, which is very important in the context of Bharat. So this institution has still uh, intense traditional moorings, like it is rooted in the tradition. When we talk about the marriage, then it should be in the same caste. It is the norm. You think about yourself. Will your parents approve of you marrying in the another caste? They might, they might, but not very easily. They will if the class of the other person surpasses the caste. I mean, if the class is so high, try to understand what I'm trying to say. Suppose that if let us take the example of Sonam only, right? Had she asked their parents to marry somebody else who was economically well off as compared to the current boyfriend, will their parents say no? Perhaps yes, they would still say no, but perhaps no, they will not say no. Okay, let me make it further more easier. One of the reasons that the parents of the girl gave for not letting her marry her boyfriend was that firstly he's from different caste. So here the caste becomes very important, you see, different caste. And secondly, they said that he's not economically well off, he cannot like take care of yours. Class is all about the money that you have in the hand. It could be of two types: the money that is coming to you on the regular basis, the salary remuneration that you are having, and secondly the wealth that you have in case of the inheritance, the accumulation the family your family has done. For example, the land that you have, the houses, homes, properties, assets, gold and all, everything that you have. So your class is decided by these factors basically, right? The accumulated wealth and the income that you are having, and these two become very important factors in deciding who you would marry. Speaking from the context of the girl, so primarily what happens in India is that parents wish that their girl gets married off to a person coming from a good class, and caste is like no exception until unless class is caste is no compromise until unless the class is very high. Suppose if there is a general girl coming from the general category, coming from a Brahmin family, if she falls in love, if she asks their parents to marry a person coming from the OBC category, right? Then the parents will not agree prima facie, primarily, right? Easily. But if she tells them that the guy is an IAS officer, right? A minister, somebody holding a very big post, the manager, CEO in a big company, then will parents still not agree? Think rationally. I think they will agree now. They will agree now, right? This is the norm in the society, that caste is a big matter, because the girl, if her class is not that good, then of course it's less likely that she will not go to marry a person from the significantly higher class, right? Because the guy will also look for the girl situated on the same hierarchy, in the same straight in the class hierarchy, right? And there is another thing. At times, what happens that, as the saying goes, love is blind. We fall in love with the other person, not considering the pragmatic, rational, and practical things, right? Right. These social institutions and the norms that they are decided by, you know, have some practical considerations, rational considerations, logic, rationale as well. So if the parents of the family think that their girl married to the person from the good class, they have this practical rationale that that guy would be able to take care of the expenses of the girl and would be able to give the girl a decent life, because we at the end of the day live in the patriarchal society. Is it or not? So their concern is somewhat, to some extent, justified, right? I'm not telling my opinions, what are personally like my opinions. Do not try to reduce that. This is also what I personally think. These are all like societal structured dynamics, theories that I am putting before you, right? So we talked about the class. Whatever the intentions of the parents, good or bad, whatever the consequences, this is a social factor, that class is something very important when the parents or even the girl herself decides a partner for her. You know, Caste, as I have told you, like 80% of the marriages take place in the caste, and the rationale behind choosing a person from the same caste is that we are a religious society. A lot of our culture is decided by religion, comes from the religion, the festivals that we celebrate, what we eat or not, how do we dress ourselves, what we put on our body, right? It is all like decided by the culture, right? And the caste also has something to do with the culture, the mindset, at least the status, the reputation and all, status and reputation mainly, right? Culture and lifestyle is mostly associated with the religion, because they worship the same god. Like even if the caste is different, it doesn't matter, but status and reputation is something which is very much associated with the caste. We know that like Brahmins are at the top, then comes Kshatriya, then comes the Shudra, and then comes the Vaishya. So yeah, because of these two reasons, like, right, if and we have, when we are talking about the marriage and the caste, then traditionally we see two categories of marriages: pratilom and anulom, hypergamy and hypogamy. Anulom vivah is something where the guy can come from the higher status, from the higher caste, and girl is from the lower uh, status of the caste, and that is okay, that is permitted, because the girl is at the end of the day expected to live in the house of the guy, so he is supposed to expected to be wealthier, to be more well off, because the child that they will produce will bear the name of the guy. Getting my point? So these are certain things about the caste and the class, how they both play an important role in the Indian marriage system. And there is one another facet that we didn't talk about is religion, right? So in 99% of the cases, we will see that the people in India around us, be them your friends and family members, marry in the same religion that they come from. Why? Because of the value system and the culture, right? So recently only the festival of Eid was celebrated, right? The Muslim community celebrates the festival of Eid. Suppose if a girl fall in love with a Muslim guy, a girl born and brought up, say in a Jain family or say in a Brahmin family, where eating non-veg is prohibited, right? Suppose if she goes to the home to live with the guy who comes from a different faith system, where they celebrate this festival by sacrificing an animal, an animal as big as a human boy, right, human child, or sometimes as a man, as big as a man, then and then they eat it as well as their food. So you see that stark difference between the two culture, their lifestyle, their belief system, their practices, norm, festivals, rituals, and all. There is a stark difference. So, will they be able to go with each other? No, not very easily. So, this is some rationale. This is some rationale behind marrying into the same religion. I'm not saying that this is good or this is bad. Let me very well put it. I'm just saying what the theorists have said, right? So, marrying in a different religion in India is also something which is not encouraged, and we see that almost like 90% of the time people marry in the same religion. But here in this particular case, religion is not that big a factor, because the boyfriend was also from the same religion, right? The matter, the important point, the important what should I say, the deciding factor was class, the second was caste. These two seem to be very small things, like why I am emphasizing on them so much is the fact, because you see the Indian media going on bashing the girl, giving, showing the minute details of the incident, the crime that took place, going to the crime location, interrogating with the people in the region and the family members of both the people involved, and formulating, propounding so many theories, she must have got smuggled or trafficked to the neighboring country and of Bangladesh and whatnot. So they are giving so much time to these individual specifications, then why can I not discuss the social causes or the social factors, the social aspects of this entire incident, which are very important and which doesn't have to do only with this particular case but are common in the other cases related as well. So here, it is totally justified to give half an hour or an hour to these two things, because at the base, at the foundation of this entire incident are these two things. One is the class, second is the caste. Involved in what? marriage. Like marriage is this only. Suppose this is the institution of marriage, right? And what becomes important in the institution of marriage is your family, because most of the times we see that people get into the arranged marriages. I'm not very well versed with the figures, the proportion of the people, but yeah, it is still like prevalent, at least in the tier 2, 3, 4 cities. In the rural areas, arranged marriages are norm. If there is a marriage which is arranged, and who will arrange it? The parents will arrange it, the family members will arrange it, your uncles, aunts, who will start getting concerned about why are you not marrying, you are 25 and 26, why are you not marrying, let me give you some suggestions. They come with a lot of proposals, biodata and whatnot. So this is how like a marriage is arranged in India. And yeah, so this is first thing. Family plays an important role in deciding the marriage. Since the family has given you the birth, your parents, they have raised you, the upbringing that they have given you, the resources that they provided to you, the education that they sponsored of you, the needs and the desires, the fantasies, luxuries that they took care of you. So for all of these things, you owe them something. Like, this is the mentality. You owe them what? You owe them agreement, sort of that you will fulfill their wish, their desire. Hence, like, the people go for the arranged marriages, be them the guys, be them the girls. So as opposed to the Western countries, where we see most of the marriages are of course love marriages, as opposed to that. And there exists, in the West exists no such thing like caste, and not even religion matter much. But mostly like they are Christian. uh, Class of course matters everywhere, and not only for the family but for the individual as well. It does, and it should, because it is rational and pragmatic thing to talk about, right? Because it is I mean, I don't need to put much focus, emphasis, content into this particular subhead. So yeah, suppose this is the institution of marriage, right? It is a sacrosanct, it is a very sanctified institution. The whole process goes on for a week or so. It is not a union between the two people per se, as it is in the West. It is a union between the two families, right? The bride is expected to talk on the call and whatnot with the in-laws. The same happens with the groom as well. So it is a very sacrosanct institution involving the relationship between not only two individuals but two families, right? So it is the institution of when we talk about the marriage, the institution of marriage, then the elements which play an important role is the family. You know, be it the arranged marriage or is the love marriage, family is always a important factor. Secondly, it is the, what did I say? Caste. Thirdly, the class. What else? What else? Well, we won't go much in depth. We won't include much factors. We will include the factors which are relevant to this case. These three are the factors involved, right? And if we think about this case particularly, as per the media reports, sources, like, I'm not somebody who is a friend of Sonam Raj or the other people. What I can do is to just put the information that I am getting from the media only, or after reading the newspaper and listening to the reports. So it is being said that the girl expressed her desire to marry her boyfriend, who is, yeah, age is also a factor. Age. So the girl expressed the desire to marry her boyfriend, who is 4 to 5 younger than her. So the age is not matching. Who is from a different caste. the caste is not matching. And which caste? If he is from the higher caste, then the parents of the girl might consider it. But if he is from the lower caste, the guy is Kushwa. Kushwa, as far as I know, is an OBC community, right? Is having lesser status than the Raghuvanshi in the society. And Raghuvanshi, as far as I know, are probably general caste people having higher status. Okay. So the age is not same. The age is not only, not does it has to be same, but higher for the guy. That is the norm in the society, right? So on let us see like how this marriage was faring on these four parameters. How the what should we say, the likability of the bond, the marriage between the girl and her boyfriend, you know, uh, how much it was, right? If they were to assess it, ki, is it possible, the possibility of the marriage between these two, let us gauge it. So on the factor of age, on the parameter of age, it didn't fare well. As I told you, the age is considerably lesser in case of the guy, who is reportedly said to be 25 while the girl is 29 or something. So there is an age difference of 4, an age difference which is like opposite to what the norm is, right? Had it been the case the other way, then they could have gone for it, they could have considered it, because a guy even like 10 years older is okay in our patriarchal traditional society, right? But a girl even a single year older becomes a problem. Yeah, these are the facts, like, right? So in the parameter of on the parameter of age, they failed. They both, the lovers, right, failed, who loved each other in this modern age of technology, right? Increased individualism, right? When you have all the resources, you can connect with whosoever you want through the phone, social media, meet with great autonomy and independence, especially in a metropolitan city or a city as big as Indore. So you can pretty well come in, fall in love with each other, right? Then comes the marriage. So we are examining that how possible, plausible, practical it is, to get the social approval to your bond, you know. So on the parameter of age, no, they didn't fare well. Now second thing is, what did I say? Caste, right? Caste, as I told you, should be higher in the case of guy. Preferably it should be the same, but it was neither same, it was neither higher, and the guy came from a lower caste, so again a no. Thirdly thirdly come to the factor of caste, sorry, class. Now, if, as I told you in the beginning, if the guy comes from a higher class, significantly higher class, then the factor, this one, even the caste and even the age gets sidelined. The parents, then they would overlook them, right? But here we see that the guy was not well to do, didn't come from the family who is wealthy, and he himself was not into some good profession, was not earning well. So the parents denied, parents refused, parents disapproved this proposal of the girl. And fourthly, for what? For what? For the marriage. Fourth comes the family. So the family wasn't, agreeing. The brother, despite all the three factors, acting against the girl, if any of the family member, loved the girl, as in the present times where these traditional factors are becoming irrelevant, at least in the urban areas, in the highly educated societies. And what is becoming important is the love in the parents for their children, right? Of course, within a certain limits. So if there was this sense, then they could have considered it. But no, the family was very hell bent on abiding by or adhering to these norms of age, caste, class, etc. So yeah, the entire family, as we can see, that was not supporting the wish of the girl. There were some other incidents. The girl expressed the desire to pursue the higher education, to pursue MBA, and she said that she want to study, but the family denied. No, you do not study, which is a very like common thing in the Indian scenario. The studies are not actually encouraged and supported. For a girl, like they do not spend much. I'm talking about the traditional India, the people who are so very privileged, coming from the elite background, living in the urban area, might find it very strange. But yeah, this is the fact that the parents, right from the beginning, think that they will not spend much in the education of the girl, because at the end of the day she would be married and she would go to some other house, would live with the guy. So why to spend much, while while the guy is supposed to live for the entire life with the parents in the family, only taking care of their house, the home, the assets that they have accumulated, bringing them the more income, sustaining and supporting the life of the other family members, the parents. So this is the basic distinction. This is the social structure. This is the like social dynamics, the vyavastha that we call the system in the Indian society, and that we call patri locality. The houses are patri local. I mean, the girl is supposed to migrate to the house of the guy, and parents are also supposed to give dowry in order to show assert their status. So rather than spending into the education, they save the money in order to give to the girl, when she's married off, uh, asserting their status. Look how wealthy we are. So because of these two reasons predominantly, they do not spend much in the education of the girl, which is of course, like, this is my personal opinion, is not a good thing. Is not a good thing, but it is a norm and a fact in the society. And the Sonam actually became the victim of all these four uh, factors. Or if we do not call her the victim, then the person influenced or impacted by all these four parameters, or the factors which are important in deciding the marriage. So this is the one thing. Secondly, she also became a victim, not a victim, but she also got influenced by the social change that is happening in the society. As I shed some light in the beginning only, times are changing, right? Social change is what, like, we are going from tradition to modern, is a typical very general social change that we are experiencing in the society. Social change is preceded by the material change in the societies. The society is getting urbanized, like they are living, we are starting living in the urban areas. Our societies are becoming urban. Like, with the urbanity comes a lot of other factors: anonymity, individualism. Like in the cities, you see, in Indore you see, there are so many parks, there are so many places, there are oyos coming up and whatnot. So on the digital front, people have a phone, people have got this gadget of a mobile phone to connect with each other, to connect with each other, through Tinder, Bimble, Tundle, whatever the dating sites, apart from the Instagram and whatnot. And once they like see each other, and then there we have got, as I told you, because of the anonymity and individualism, the easy transport, commute, and whatnot, because of the modern institutions such as schools, colleges, where like you get ample of opportunity to intermingle with each other, the person coming from the different sex. And then, like in the occupational places where you are, in the office and whatnot, you have ample of opportunity to interact with the person. And in the process, what happens that we fall in love with the person, right? We fall in love with the person sometimes. And if you have fallen love with them, so firstly what happened, that there happened a social change, right? A social structure is also already existing there, which is a traditional social structure, right? Then there happened this social change, and because of these social forces,
Like these are the social forces now of media, of this modern culture, cool culture, where like dating, making relationships is now normalized. Because of this thing, you fell in love, you entered into a relationship, and now you develop the feelings with each other now, and you are to solemnize that relationship, sanctify that relationship, get it converted into the marriage, which society approves as a dignified way of living together, not the living relationship. So now what they will do is they will marry, but because of the social change, this mentality has changed, and it is now paving the way for the intermingling avenues, opportunities, which were not there in the traditional society in the past. Now what is happening is that, but the society, specifically the family, the people from the older generation are still rooted in the traditional values, traditional culture, traditional norms of what? Of these things, as I told you: class, caste, age, community, religion, region, sometime ethnicity, race, if the uh, spouse or the person who you love is from different ethnicity, different region, say from south if you are from north, or say from America if you are from India. So these all the factors are still there. So there comes a there creates gets created a sort of friction between the two because of the social change. Like things are changing, but the traditional system is not ready. The society is not ready. Is clinging on to the traditional system, these traditional factors, as I have told you. So what happens that there gets created a sort of anomic situation, situation of confusion for the person involved in it. you know there gets created a situation of confusion, and here is what possibly probably happened, and what possibly probably the girl thought. This is the plan she might have devised, you know in her mind, of course, along with the other perpetrators. So apart from not apart from, like, along with the various theories going on in the media, this is another theory that I uh, read about somewhere, and I'm not commenting on the veracity, authenticity of this particular theory, because it is also an assumption, but it is quite logical and you should listen to it. So the girl, whose name is Sonam, was actually in love with this guy, and she wasn't allowed to marry him. If she was, then she'll have to go against the wish of the family. And as I told you, the class of the guy was not higher. Had the class been higher, they could have eloped. They could have, gone away, as the people generally do, But they didn't have much resources or wealth as well to sustain, right? So what, and this is one thing, like this is the practical thing, and more than the practical thing, I think the cultural reasons were involved, because she didn't want, maybe, to uh, make her family bad, you know to disappoint the family members, right? So this was another thing, like why she didn't you know go with her lover. Why did she marry? And men, or women for that matter also, not to be sexist in the language, and more so women, because particularly the person that we are talking about here is a woman only, are emotional creatures, so they have multiple thoughts running in their mind. They do not make up their mind with certitude. Things change, thoughts change. Maybe at one point of time she would have thought of, okay, let's give it a try. Let's get married to this guy and try to live the entire life with him. Let's try to develop the feelings for this guy. But the fact of the matter is, she was in relationship with the other person, her lover, for a very long time, and those feelings would still come to her. And thus, like, she maybe tried to start a new life, move on. She couldn't. Then she thought of devising this devilish plan. So whatever happened there, what I can think of is that what I was saying. So whatever happened, like what I can think of is that yeah, there is a I told you about the social change. I was saying that the traditional society, the society is not getting off, letting go of the traditional moorings, like the traditions, the norms, and thus resultingly this is happening. So there were two reasons she didn't go away with that guy. One possibly because of the lack of material resources, and secondly and most importantly because of not disappointing her family members, right? She didn't go with that guy. And yeah, so this is what I was talking about, the theory, about the theory. Yeah, coming to the main point of the theory, they both are manglik. Like if we talk about the marriages in India, how they are decided on the basis of the biodata, which we call kundli, that is to be devised by a pandit, astrologer, you know, who looks at the minute details like birth and all of the people, involved in the marriage, and then he considers the positions of the planets in the uh, solar system, and on the basis of that they say that a person is manglik or not. If you are manglik, very few people are manglik, then you can marry a manglik only, a person with the mangal only. And this is the fact. So they both were fortunately manglik, they both had the mangal. So if you are to like get away with it, if you are to marry some other person, some other guy, then you'll have to get off with the mangal, and the mangal goes off, goes away. And when you get separated from the person, like either you get the divorce, or like if that person dies. So this is also a theory, like I'm not very sure of, but this is a theory. So the girl was had a mangal, and had mangal in her kundli, and if she like somehow becomes a widow or separated, then she can marry the other guy, and the mangal goes off. Now she can easily marry the other guy. And family earlier was not actually her family was not agreeing to marrying her to a guy located situated lower in the socio-economic hierarchy of caste and class. But if she becomes a widow, because we know that firstly in our society widows aren't encouraged to marry, firstly in our society. Secondly, if at all they try to marry, then the man of course will not go for a widow. There is a stigma attached to it. We give a lot of importance to the virginity, piousness, and what not. So nobody would marry her, and if nobody is going to marry her, then this guy, the lover, would of course marry her if they are truly in love with each other. And then she might have thought like that, then her family would agree to her marrying her lover, who was Raj. If she divorces the husband, then again the family will persuade that marry the person of our choice, not Raj, because there might be better options available for a divorcee widow than a widow. Like this is again a social fact. So this is the theory going on in the society. So what I am trying to do, I'm not saying that the girl was uh, completely innocent or anything of that sort. She was horribly wrong. What she has done is utterly wrong. Is a sin. It sends the chill down our spine. It is a very chilling incident. How can somebody do that? But we have to look at the underlying causes, the social factors. So this was the case, that I try to analyze from the sociological perspective. So Okay, now let me give some solution also from my side, like what can happen. So, see, we all live in the families, we all enter into this institution of marriage. We all suffer from the same dilemma, whether to marry a person of our choice or to marry the person of the that our family is suggesting, right? Being the family members, the parents, the fathers and the mothers, you have this dilemma. You want your daughter to marry to a person from the same caste, class or whatever, according to your wish. How could this situation be avoided? How could this situation be avoided, and the similar situations be avoided? So if we are to talk about the solutions, of course these are not the actual solutions, but what I can think is that if you as the parents, listen it very carefully, if you as the parents, family members, want your children to go according to you, to do things according to you, for example, marry according to you, not precisely according to you, like marry this person, not that, but to follow some norms, values when deciding the marriage. If you want that, if you want your children to draw a boundary, to be limited by certain norms. For example, if you want your children to marry in the same religion, suppose if he or she is Hindu, you want her to marry to a Hindu only, then give them the values, sanskar, what we say right from the beginning. Make them fuck make them very clear, freaking clear right from the beginning, that these are your boundaries that you aren't supposed to cross. If you do that and if they do that, then I think that such a situation will not arise. And your the boundaries that you are putting there, fixing there, should not be very rigid. As I already told you, should be logical, should be practical. If you infuse this sense in them, that you are married, you are supposed to marry in the same culture. If you infuse this rationality rationality in them, that you are supposed to marry to a person who is well situated in the economic hierarchy, like who is earning well as regard resources, then they will use their mind, they will choose a right partner. And if you are not infusing this sense in them, and if you are giving them the full freedom to choose whosoever you want to get into the relationship, to sustain that relationship, if you are giving him the freedom, free hand, then you should not stick to the traditional norms of the society, is all what I am saying. Suppose like she must have got enough of freedom from her family, the girl, but now when it comes to the marriage, then the family is saying is not, you'll have to marry according to our wish, only abiding by these factors only. Then no, this is not gonna work. So this is a sort of solution. It's not a complete solution. It's something that can happen, because I'm observing that these days, like, girls have a lot of freedom when it comes to the access to the mobile phones, getting into the relationships, changing the relationships, and all, starting living in the live-in relationship and whatnot. They have the freedom, right? Of course, like, parents do not have approval, do not give approval to most of the things, but at least to some of the things, right? But parents do not tell them beforehand कि you are supposed to, you know set a boundary, fix a boundary, do not infuse this sense in them. But later what happens is that, because of the access to these the resources, and because of living in a modern society, being exposed to, the social change these days, to the folk and cool culture, you know and or maybe because of the human feelings as well, we fall in love, with the people. What happens is that the choices do not go hand in hand many a times. Who suffers is the children, is the child, is what I feel. I mean, this is not related to this particular case. What I'm saying is not related to the particular case, but it happens. it happens. So a very fundamental question also arises is that do parents have the right to manipulate their children or to force their mentality, mindset in either way, like in a benign way, through persuasion, through teaching, or in a harsh way, through coercion? Do they have the right or not? Or do the children should they have the complete freedom? They can marry whosoever they want, irrespective of their religion, caste, class, age, and all. So these are some questions that the society should talk on, not only on the minute details of the murder. What weapon was found, where was it found, when did they leave the guest house, ran uphill, came downhill, who was with them, and these all the questions, like they are very particular to this case. But the problem is social. The problem actually shows that there is something wrong in the society, right? So yeah, summing up the entire case, let us sum up the entire case. If there are any point that I left while talking about this horrible case, is that uh, see, this case actually came to the limelight. Not many cases do. Many a times the girls, they find themselves stuck, in the marriages which are not working because the marriages were fixed against their wish, against their choice, and they recourse, recourse to the ways which are not morally correct, ethically correct. We see the cases of infidelity, mistrust, extramarital affair rising up to the extent that even the Supreme Court, said that we should decriminalize the extramarital affairs. They also showed the green flag to the extramarital affairs. Now, where have the values of the society gone? Where have the values of the society gone? Is the question that the functionalists, the people concerned about the society are raising. So, see, we looked at the systemic causes, of the marriage and the fallouts of the coercive marriage, of arranged marriage in the traditional setup. Now, these are a couple of points that I jotted down. I tried to summarize them. I thought that I'll go according to this sequence order, but no, I didn't. Like, if I once start speaking, then there is no going back. I do not look at the script. Let us. So, arranged marriage tradition is coercive, refusal is dishonoring the family duty. So, many of people, they are saying that why didn't she refuse the family? So, if you are in that situation, if you keep yourself in her shoes, it is very difficult to refuse. It is not that easy. It is actually not that easy. As I have told you, the women, they are becoming independent, getting the freedom, getting linked with the phone and with the partners and all, but the fundamental structure of the society is still traditional. Your family has traditional mindset. So this is one thing. Second thing is that it is not easy as it's seen. It appears to be, as it is said that no, easier said than done. It's the same thing. So the people who are saying that she could have easily, gotten away with it, why didn't she? Uh, why didn't she refuse? So she had refused, as there are enough evidence that she told that she wanna marry another guy, and her family denied and refused, thinking that she would, somehow uh, accept this marriage, the marriage with the Raghuvanshi guy, but she didn't. So second point is murdering, rather divorce, shows preservation of sanctity of marriage when dissolution can threaten honor. Yeah, it is also about the honor of the family, as I told you, the status and honor about the family. A lot of people are saying that okay, if somehow she has gotten into the marriage and she thought that she would somehow manage with this new guy, she would overcome her past feelings, the past relationship, the past whatever they had with the lover, the Raj. Then if she thought that she would, you know, manage, and she couldn't manage, then she would have gone with divorce. Like this is a legal route which is available there, a legal avenue, to come out of a marriage. But you see, like how many people they do the divorce around you, in your family, in your parents, how common it is. And it is not. Yeah, and secondly, there is a huge stigma attached to it. People who have divorced are judged horribly. This is first thing. And second thing is coming to the practicality. If they are to marry some other person, then it becomes very difficult for you. You know, take your case only. No, like it is in contrast with the West. In West it is okay, but in India it is not. In India, like divorce is something which is not normal, which is not common. With divorce comes a host of issues, judgments, first of all, impressions, image in the society. People make assumptions, stereotypes, and prejudices are associated with divorce. So why the divorce happened? There must be something wrong in this person and all. People do not easily marry. So this is one thing. Like, so why didn't she give the divorce? This is the one reason she didn't give the divorce, because of losing the honor and whatnot, honor of the family. I told you, like divorce is stigmatized. That is why she chose like conspiring. She uh, chose this path of conspiring and violence. Mm, structural constant social change. It also tells about the hybrid identity in the modern world. Hybrid identity of whom? Hybrid identity of the women. Are they really independent, autonomous? Are they really empowered? Have we really, freed them of the traditional restrictions that they had? Have they really become, autonomous when it comes to the decision making? Is a very pertinent question. Or is patriarchy still there? So we can see that in this case only patriarchy is still very much there. So what we see today is patriarchal bargain. you know Women are given the freedom, but only to a certain extent, that she is allowed to have a mobile phone. you know she is allowed to go to the school to pursue her education, go to the college and all. But if she tells that, Mama, I want to marry the person of my choice, then there will come certain restrictions or certain checks. The family will check the class, caste, status, religion of that guy. So there comes a contradiction between the modernity and tradition. So this whole debate is about modernity and contradiction, contradiction between the modernity and the tradition. Yeah, both are not going at the same pace. I mean, the traditions are not adapting to the modern changes that are coming in their society, in the society. So she has some freedom, and she is educated, she is ambitious, but still she will have to face the constraints. Who, I'm not talking about this girl particularly, the girls in general, right? And the main point, the major point is that in the media there is utter lack of discourse. There is deafening silence on the social, side of this entire issue. They are like very narrowly looking at the issue. They are they're demonizing the picture, they're demonizing the image. tarnishing the image of this girl, which of course like she deserves. She deserves punishment. What she has done was utterly wrong, horrible, terrible it was. But should we keep on looking at this entire incident through these individualized lenses? Should we target her individually, or should we look at the system in large? Should we look at the bigger picture as well? The social forces in the society as well, the social change as we talked about, the family, the traditional mindset. Should we talk about this or as well? Also, the agency, the rights of the women as well. What rights do they have? It is about the women rights, women agency as well. So it is something which is very important. Media nowhere talked about these things, and almost everybody is abusing the girl, right? Everybody is just calling, reprimanding, and saying, calling names to her, which she of course to some certain extent deserves, because what she has done was utterly wrong. Like she could have, yeah, she had so many other ways as well. But the problem actually reveals the fissures in the society, a contradiction in the society, the problem existing in the society because of the modernity coming in our lives and the existence of the tradition. When there is a sort of a clash of between the two, then these are the incidents of deviance of anomaly that we see in the society. So what is missing is the criticism of the patriarchy of this honor culture, right, where you are supposed to preserve the honor of the family through the arranged marriages, through marriages in the same family, in the bigger or higher class of the person from the higher age group, and these all the things. Divorce is stigmatized, you know, brings dishonor to the family. So this is all missing. What is missing is the intersectional analysis of this particular incident. Intersecting the marriage with the class, with the caste, as I do using this demonstration. So this is something which is missing in the society. What we need beyond the laws, because there are laws already, domestic violence law, anti-dowry act, and whatnot. But laws are nothing, as Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar said, without the change in the mind. Laws are changing, but we should change the mind mentality of the people as well. People are whom part of the society, so of the society, at large. Like Swachh Bharat mission that the Honorable Prime Minister launched, which changed the mindset of the people, of mindset of the people from Indore, from the city of Indore, which has grabbed the first position when it comes to the Swachhta Sarvekshan for 7 years consequently. Oh my God, that is a tremendous feat. For the past 7 to 8 years, Indore has been grabbing the first position as the cleanest city. Why has it happened? The people there are very aware about their rights when it comes to the cleanliness on the road. They do not throw things on the road. They throw in the dustbins. The administration, local governance has done a tremendous job and a fantastic job, and they have created a consciousness in the minds of the people that they should maintain the uh, dignity of the urban spaces. They should make them look good, should not litter the things here and there, put the things into the dustbin. So this consciousness is very important. It has come after a sort of a mission or a movement that the state started coming up with the civil society, the NGOs and whatnot, and they developed a culture. So Indore is very famous for this culture, that it has become a culture there to put the garbage, the waste material in the dustbin. It has become a culture there that the vehicle to collect the dust, to collect the garbage from the municipality, municipal corporation would come there at your door at a specific time, and you will throw, go with a bucket and the garbage and net to throw, to dump it into the vehicle. Then that vehicle would take the waste to some processing unit, wherein the waste would be converted into the energy if it can, and or otherwise incinerated or is disposed of in a sustainable manner. So like there are multiple people who have come together, like the prime minister at the helm, you know have initiated this program. The people in the region, like in the Indore and the municipal corporation, have implemented it really well. Civil society NGO groups also joined the hands. The citizens also, got aware of their rights and all, and this became a movement which has brought a cultural change. Now, this change is supposed to be replicated, supposed to come where in the social sphere as well. The earlier one that I talked to you about was in the civic sphere, because it was the lack of civic sense earlier. Ki people would throw waste wherever they wish, they will not mind it. So, this was the lack of civic sense in the people, but now the government has infused that civic sense. So this was a civic domain that we are talking about when we are talking about the Swachhta Sarvekshan. But now the change that I am telling you about, we are aspiring to bring is in the social domain, not in the civil domain, but in the social domain. And society is very much decided by the religion as well. So this is slightly difficult to tackle as compared to this one, the civic one, right? Social one is slightly difficult, but we'll anyways have to make efforts. The government will have to make efforts, civil society will have to make efforts, the religious, the seers, leaders, acharyas, saints will have to make efforts to change the social dynamics, to give liberty, freedom, independence to the women, to make the things less rigid. Only then, we can see that we can realize the goal of Viksit Bharat. Otherwise, such cases tarnish the image of the nation at large. Again, I'm telling, I'm not absolving this girl. I'm not absolving her of her uh, crimes. She is not at all innocent. What she has done was utterly wrong, could have easily prevented it. But again, what I tried is to put a different perspective, you know, is what I have done. So, in the end, I apologize, like if I have said anything wrong factually, or if I have hurt your sentiments, then I am sorry for that. I just tried to analyze the institution of marriage, family, class, caste, which were, at the core of this entire issue, and I just tried to say that this is a social issue, not an individual issue per se, and something of this sort. Not the killing per se, but the tensions can emerge, can exist in your family as well. Like the tensions, they were existing in the case of this particular family. So try not to impose your will on your children. If you have given them the freedom, if they were brought up in a modern setup, then they will go to accomplish their desires. Let them accomplish, let them, either firstly, yeah, like you give them the samskar, the values right from the beginning. If they are abiding by it, then it is good. If they are not, then okay, it is okay. Say it is okay. The change comes from a single person. Like each one of us to should do our bit. We'll have to start. Then only the change will come. Is what I feel. I hope that you will understand the motive of the video, because each and everyone literally was talking about the incident particularly, and the minute details of the crime, and whatnot, and also about the girl, that how bad is she, how stupid and moron she was, and how like devilish, demonic the act that she has done. So everybody was talking about, nobody was talking about the social perspective. So here in this video I try to put the social perspective, and I express my deepest condolences with the bereaved family, with the mother who was crying. Those scenes, the images, her sorrowful screams, the way she was sobbing comes to my mind, and she has lost her young son, which is a very, very painful thing, to happen to any parent, any parent. So this is something really bad, and I express my deepest condolences with the. Uh, I have my sympathies with the family of the deceased person. Also, this is an appeal to the girls. Please do not fool the parents. Please do not fool the husband, the partner. Please have some values of commitment, loyalty, sincerity, integrity in you. Because when I hear the voice of the girl while she was talking with her mother-in-law on the phone, when she was there in Indore. The mother was in Indore, I guess, and the girl was on track in Meghalaya. And she was saying कि yeah, mummy सब ठीक है. They were speaking in that typical Indori voice. I also have spent like 4 years in Indore, so she was speaking in typical Indori voice. The mother was saying कैसा चल रहा है, सब हो गया, और बोला हाँ मम्मी सब बढ़िया है, सब अच्छा चल रहा है, मेरा ना वो खाना नहीं खाया, I haven't eaten anything. That girl was like, because she is observing fast, and through the voice it looked like, oh my god, there could be no better daughter in law for this mother. There could be no better daughter in law. How good is she? The way she was speaking, she was pretending to be something entirely different. My god, the acting skills of the girl. If you go on hearing that recording, I heard that recording, it got recorded in the phone. In some phones there is a feature that the call records get automatically recorded. In the recording you can see she was acting very innocently, very, very innocently, and the reality is something totally different. So this is also something I would like to request the entire women community, not only women, to men as well. Please do not pretend to be who you are. Do not be two-faced. Do not have the double standards. Don't be a hypocrite. Present yourself as what you are. This is good for you, the parents, for the society, for the well-being of the society, for the entire nation. Otherwise, what happens is that such discourses, they take our attention off the real issues, what the real issues of the society, of the nation, like poverty, unemployment, misgovernance, the urban life spaces. There are a hell lot of problems. We gotta talk about the international issues. In the political realm, in the social, and there are many more issues, like these personal incidents take the attention from the serious issues, attention from where from the media. This is what happened in the Sushant Singh Rajput case. You must have seen that for a year or two, like media was hell bent on tarnishing the image of that girl, the girlfriend, Chakravarti from Bengal, and the region was actually targeted, just like the northeast was targeted. Something of the similar sort happened there as well. So do good deeds. Like, this is the moral. I started it from at the social level, and I'm ending it on a moral level. Do good deeds. Do good deeds is all what I would like to say. So yeah, this is it. If you have any other perspectives, I am more than happy and welcome to your perspectives, to disagreements. If you like this analysis, and if you want some more analysis of this sort to happen in the future, then tell them in the comment section below. You can criticize it, but the constructive criticism, are welcome. With this, Garvit Jan signing off. Jai Hind.